This is a technical video. You've been warned. By the length of my beard, you can tell how long it's been. Hey everyone, Cetra Psycho here, bringing you another fantastic video. And real quick, just heads up, I know it's been a while, and I have a lot of videos in the works, a lot of projects in the works, and things to address. But that's not this video, and I really want to get this out of the way, so this is gonna be more of a rant video.
Alert. Alert. Rant video incoming.
If that's not your thing, go ahead and click off, no problem. See you soon. Anyways, so what I want to discuss is quite literally me trying to play a really good game, and it's running on a very
unoptimized
engine. Everybody knows that Oblivion Remaster just came out, and recently I've been trying to get back into content creation, but I've been doing a lot of testing, a lot of streaming, which by the way, if you haven't checked out my streams, links in the description below. But long story short, I can't stream it. So you might be seeing some footage right now of me trying to stream, and most of these streams going good at first, and I've tried everything. I've tried my different encoder settings. I cannot get this game to run properly on my stream without crashing my damn stream. Hey everyone, Editor Cycle here, and real quick, just popping in to let you know that yes, I am well aware that my 3070 Ti only has 8 gigs of VRAM, which in this day and age isn't a lot, but that's kind of been my point, is that you got manufacturers like Nvidia that's producing cards with only 8 gigs of VRAM, which is not the modern standard, but a lot of games are not realizing that we still have a lot of people who are running in 8 gig forms, and with the current GPU market and a whole lot of other things that I'm not really trying to get into, just want to make that well aware. And I went in knowing it, but you also got to understand, when I bought the graphics card at the time, this was heavy into the pandemic and the whole crypto mining craze. So literally getting your GPU at MSRP at all was literally an impossible task. Not the fact that I got this MSI Virtuous 3XOC blah 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 graphics card at below MSRP in a store, so I took that deal at the time. I don't necessarily regret that, but I do not like the fact that that's in here. This is clearly a technical video. You should know what you're into by this point. You've been warned. I've tried some things, and I've had some hopeful promises, specifically when I was not recording it, but that just never sat right with me, and I made that very clear in one of the streams that I do prefer recording. I do enjoy having that as a backup for who knows whatever reason, but I cannot seem to get this game running. Now, there's a lot of ways I can look at this, and I'm gonna kind of address it here and there, but long story short, I'm not also calling out anybody who do these methods, because you know, ever to each his own. You know, I just have a different taste of how I want to go about my content creation. If you can't see back there, my PS5 ain't plugged in, and that also goes for the Series X as well. I have not touched my consoles in a very long time. I've actually considered just selling it to somebody who would appreciate them more. I'm not here to start any fanboy wars, because I know that's crazy on Twitter, but for the most part, I've just kind of abandoned consoles at this point. For me, I see no reason. All the games eventually come out on PC, and in the case of Spider-Man, I mean, that was probably the only game that I was like, okay, I'll play that on PS5, and now it's on PC, so it's like, what's the point? It's literally been collecting dust. And for the most part, my setup, my PC can handle pretty much anything I throw at it, with the exception of Oblivion. We'll get to that. And I think part of it is just that I'm just not satisfied with consoles anymore. I do enjoy having a freedom of customization in terms of, you know, what my graphics are, my frame rate is. I have really high-end monitors, so you know, the consoles cannot take advantage of my monitors the way that my PC can. However, that's not to say that it's all sunshine and rainbows here, because when you record and stream on the same PC, a lot of people kind of realize that unless you have like top of the line, brand new, high tech, blah, blah, blah parts, that it can probably do pretty good results. But the thing is, you're always having to sacrifice something in order to get this experience normal, i.e. your PC is having to literally split its performance in half to run both a game and a stream/recording. You can prioritize one or the other, but that's kind of the point. You gotta make some sacrifices. And the thing is, I have a single setup PC. It was decently good, but now with the new game of Oblivion, and I don't even want to find out how this would run with Expedition 33. I'm just kind of looking at my setup like, is it really outdated? I have pretty much the latest Intel CPU. I kind of regret getting Intel. Editor Psycho here again to let you know that it's not necessarily the latest Intel CPU, rather it's the i7-14700K, which when I bought it at the time, everybody was shouting out at the top of the roof that Intel was just not the go-to CPU anymore, especially for gaming. And I completely ignored it because I was head-on focused in production. And even though people were saying, even in the production side of things, that Ryzen is probably going to be the better choice, I was just being such a head ass about it. And I was just dead set on getting Intel because I thought I trusted it and knew it better. But literally right out of the gate with the overheating, thermal throttling, and all the microcode updates needed to even get the thing to work properly has caused a lot more headache than it is worth. And while I never regretted the GPU portion of it, even though it definitely hasn't lasted as long as I would like to, the CPU portion, yeah, definitely regret. I regret that since day one, and I'm actually looking into the new Ryzen 9 9950X3D. It seems to be the best of literally everything, and if I'm gonna get a machine that's gonna last me long term, that's probably the CPU I'm gonna go with. Once again, sorry. And I have a 3070 Ti, and to be honest, it's nice, but now it's showing its age in terms of how it performs. I was already kind of disappointed with how it was running Oblivion, but to be honest, that also didn't bother me because I was really enjoying the game. It says a lot about other games where it runs great and I just don't care for it. I want to be able to play these games and record and stream this stuff for y'all, but I don't expect it to get better, especially as games try to get more demanding. I really expect that my hardware is not able to keep up, but it's really not that old either, and I'm kind of just sitting here like, do I really already have to get an upgrade? That's where the other option comes in, dual PC setup. I cannot justify that. I totally understand why some YouTubers and content creators, especially streamers, but any of them would want to do dual PC setup. And that's cool, that's great. I can't justify that. As much as I enjoy doing YouTube and Twitch, clearly it's been a long time since I've done it. Really, it's not something that I get paid to do. I do this for my free time. I do this because I enjoy it. I still have a life outside of content creation. And part of the thing is, I cannot justify getting a second PC just to record. Would it be as good? Yes. I mean, clearly that's why even recording my consoles was so good, because of the fact that there were two separate machines doing two different things. A dual PC setup is literally just that, because I mean, consoles essentially are PCs nowadays, and trying to run both of them would be better in terms of my problems. It would solve my issues because I don't always have to get the latest and greatest to keep up with it, but I already have a rat's nest of wires. Yeah, I would rather not show y'all, but it's bad. And I don't need any more cables. I don't need any more electricity and power running through, because again, I just don't get paid. Then there's the option of just going balls to the walls. And I mean, like I mentioned, it's good, but eventually it just becomes outdated. And if it's only been a few years and it's already getting to that point, then that tells me that it's probably not worth going down that path either. So what am I going on about? What am I ranting about? What's been the whole point of this? I'm really disappointed with Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 has its benefits. Of course it looks great. It looks beautiful when it's done right. But the fact that every game has been having to go through this transition, I get that it makes game development easier, and I'm someone who's not really been into game development. I'm saying this as a person who's done coding, who's in, you know, the IT space, and who's worked on computers, but is not someone who's actually developed a game other than like small indie titles. And I don't really want to get into that part of it, my life, but long story short, I get that it can be easier, but like, I think they're being pushed way too hard and not being optimized enough. Now, again, I'm just coming here as a consumer, right? This is just somebody who has a PC who wants to record, because I love Oblivion, you know, and this is not to throw shade at the developers or Oblivion, the game itself, because obviously those are fantastic. It was a great remaster. I've still, regardless of all the issues it's been giving me, I still grind it and play it. It's gotten to the point where it's like I can't share my love of that game because I cannot afford the latest and greatest hardware, or I can't afford to do a second PC or justify it really. I've played Space Marines 2, I've played Modern Warfare and the Call of Duty games, Black Ops 6, and none of them at this point have really been giving me that many issues. Of course, my 3070 Ti is starting to fall out of bracket, especially due to the fact that its VRAM is so low. My whole deal is, I feel like this could be better, could be a lot more optimized. And I'm not trying to, again, throw shade at the developers. I know they work hard. All of these games are being pushed into higher graphical settings, whatever you want to call it. That's fine. I'm not here to rant towards them. I'm really here to rant towards the companies that run them, especially the publishers that force like these time crunches to the point where they just like, okay, it looks great, but you know, unless you have the new latest Ryzen and, you know, a 5090, it seems like I can't really run it that much. And I'm just like, why? Like, you know, I get that competitive games are not as bad just because they know that their audience is going to want higher frame rate over graphics, and that's fine. But the thing is, there's not really anything for me to play right now. I mean, there's been Marvel Rivals and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it way more than Overwatch, but it's not been the game to really keep me playing. I've been playing the GTA 5 Enhanced, which has been pretty good with me and my friends, but a lot of the desyncing issue causes a lot of problems, and I haven't really had a chance to really stream that, so I can't attest if that affects my computer or not, or my like enjoyment of it. But I love Oblivion, and I really hope that it becomes a lot more of a better experience when newer games come out that actually interest me. One game I'm looking at is Doom: The Dark Ages, which is also another Bethesda published Microsoft whatever game, and I want to play that, but I'm afraid that my PC may not be able to handle it on a single PC setup. Again, I can do upgrades all day long, but you know, eventually they do become outdated. That's just the nature of technology. And again, I'm no expert. I never claimed to be an expert. Like I said, I have history in all this, but at the end of the day, I'm still learning, and I'm still willing to learn. And if there's any comments or tips that people have in the, you know, for me, I'm glad to have that discussion. But I just wanted to rant this a little bit because I feel like I can't be the only one. Of course, if I try to play the original Oblivion, that won't be an issue, but I mean, I want to play the remaster, you know, like that's what I paid for, and it just seems like I'm kind of being priced out of that, and I don't know how much newer I need to get. You know, I get that Intel isn't the greatest for playing games, but I mean, it shouldn't be that hard since I haven't had issues with like literally any other game before it. You know, maybe not the best, but you tell me what you guys think. Again, I'll address some other stuff, and I have more video projects down the road. But until then, y'all stay safe, and as always, keep it real in the Cetra Nation.